are retarded. Look here, checked up. So retarded. Jay, that was real, you.
And across the country, Election Night 2020. Now reporting, Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
8 p.m. in the East, polls have just closed in 16 more states, and we have results. In the state of New Jersey, Joe Biden will win the state of New Jersey. Chris Christie, I guess that's not a surprise.
Get all of them, Biden.
Checked out another projection. Also, state of Massachusetts, Joe Biden will win the state of Massachusetts right there, and it's 11 electoral votes. Joe Biden will win the state of Maryland, and it's 10 electoral votes. The pickup for Donald Trump votes. Joe Biden will win the District of Columbia, and it's 3 electoral votes. But let's take a look down in the map now and see what we show.
DC's only worth 3 electoral votes.
President Trump,
Shit.
Vermont, and those states up in the Northeast, Massachusetts, Maryland, Delaware, 4, and New Jersey, 4.
I might do it the other way, huh?
Still early.
It looks upside down. Come look.
44 electoral votes to 15. Let's take a deeper dive now at the state of Ohio in the middle of the country. 28% of the expected vote is in. And
we see how it
now,
look.
at least, to be honest, Joe Biden has a lead.
Yeah, and actually there's some good news for Joe Biden out of Ohio. The Biden campaign didn't really contest Ohio, and they made some last-minute trips there. And here's why they have reasons to be happy. In counties like Wood that went for Barack Obama and switched over to President Trump, you can see Joe Biden is on top. 55% of the voting, but you can see he's overperforming from Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. Another one of those counties that President Trump was able to swing, Trumbull County, you can see Joe Biden again on top. He's up 10 points there as well. But, you know, Ohio's all about the 3 C's, and George, I know you know this. Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. We don't have information for Cincinnati yet, but in Columbus and in Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, Joe Biden is doing really well. They're 74%. He's up almost 10 points from where Hillary Clinton was. These are the areas where Democrats have to really run up the vote. County, which is always a nail biter, 51 to 47 there. His numbers are really good compared to Hillary Clinton 4 years ago.
Okay, Tom, thanks. What are we seeing in the exit polls there, David?
Yeah, it's really different. Tom points out some encouraging numbers, but the exit polls reflect something slightly different in Ohio. If you take a look at the president's job performance in Ohio, 54% approve, 44% disapprove. This is the strongest number we're seeing in that sort of upper Midwest of the country. And when you break it down to those 2 central issues containing COVID, rebuilding the economy, 48% say the pandemic is more important to try to contain. But here's where it gets interesting, George. I was digging a little deeper here. The vast majority of Ohio voters prefer Trump over Biden to handle the pandemic moving forward, 51 to 46%. And that's even with the governor, Mike DeWine, who's received such high marks for his handling of the pandemic in recent days, saying it's raging throughout the state. But still, Ohio voters, despite what they're seeing with COVID, believe President Trump is the best to handle this moving forward.
Yvette Simpson, your home state, what do you make of the results?
You know, it's looking good. Even in places like Delaware County and Mahoning County, we're seeing Joe Biden outperform Hillary Clinton by 10, 20%, which is really great. And as you know, Ohio has got a lot to prove. We made presidents, we made Barack Obama both times, and so I think Ohio has a chip on his shoulder. To flip back to blue in this one. A lot of hard work going on in Ohio, and hopefully we can deliver
Sarah
Joe Biden today.
We saw Joe Biden make a late play in Ohio, a late play in your home state of Iowa.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in Iowa, though, I'm not pessimistic yet. I think the first votes often come in on the absentees. We've seen Democrats do very well across the country with absentees. So I expect that Ohio will close strong for the president. In Iowa, there seems to be a lot of momentum for Republicans. And what we see across the board here is that places you expect Republicans to win appear to be Republicans. North Carolina, Georgia, that's what this is going to come down to tonight.
Thanks very much. Let's go to Adrian Bankert in Columbus. Adrian, as David Muir said, COVID has been raging through the state of Ohio for the last several weeks.
Yes, that's right, George. In fact, new numbers posted today saying that there were over 4,200 new of the virus here in Ohio, 33 more deaths. That takes the number of total cases up to more than 225,000 in this state. Now, that is one concern for voters here in Ohio, but their major concern is the economy, joblessness, workers needing employment, and they overall, according to our early data, show that they believe that Trump can handle this more than Biden. But again, every poll is very, very tight, and this is a top toss-up state. This is showing that the results are tied between Trump and Biden. But again, this could be a very historic signpost for the election. There have only been 2 exceptions where Ohio didn't call the presidential winner. In fact, if you just look back at history, whoever wins Ohio lends itself to winning the presidency, winning the nomination. So we're awaiting those numbers. The polls closed at 7:30, though. Anybody who's in line still could be seen and still could cast their ballot. But again, those numbers for COVID, a big concern, and a lot of people are looking at joblessness. And like you guys are talking about in studio, the ability for Ohio to flip between red and blue is certainly something we have seen.
Pretty hard and fast rule. Republicans do not win the White House if they don't win Ohio. Adrian Banker, thanks very much. Let's go back to Florida. Now 25,000 votes or so separate Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Tom Yamas, Donald Trump is ahead.
Yeah, he's Republicans in the early vote, and in Florida right now, it is neck and neck. Every time we look at the state, it's getting closer and closer. But what we have to keep our eye on right here is this section of the state right here. We're talking about Pensacola. That is Trump country. The votes are still out there, and it's important because this is such a close race. One of the problems, besides Miami-Dade County, for Joe Biden is that he's underperforming in some Democratic counties, places like Osceola. He has a big lead there, but he's underperforming from where Hillary Clinton was 4 years ago. We look at Orlando, which was ravaged by COVID, especially the economy there. He's doing a little better there. That's a good spot for him. And he's made some gains in places like Jackson, Duval. This is a Republican county. He's winning right there. It is so close right now, George. We're going to have to keep our eye on the state minute by minute because we're talking about thousands of votes at certain parts of the night.
Okay, Tom Yamas. Mary Bruce, what is the Biden campaign telling you about Florida?
Well, all day long they have been telling us that they knew that Florida was going to be a toss-up. They, I suspect, are pouring over these numbers just like we are. Look, in areas like Miami-Dade, for instance, they never expected to do as well as Hillary Clinton, but I suspect they are very surprised to see just how close it is in that area right now. They have spent a lot of time, really the entire Biden team, fanning out across the state in these final days. Joe Biden was in Florida today, the candidate's wife. Barack Obama, Biden's not-so-secret biggest weapon in this race in many days. Obama was in Florida 3 times in just the last 2 weeks, including in that critical Miami-Dade area. So they've put a lot of effort into trying to get out the vote there. And so much of the message there, of course, on the pandemic as they try to target senior voters. I think especially about one moment in particular, Biden, during one of his 3 trips to the state, speaking to a group of seniors and saying how many of them this year haven't been able to go out and hug their grandchildren, trying to directly tie the president's handling of this pandemic to their own personal lives, to their own families. That is a message that the Biden team is hopeful will resonate in the state. But man, it is very close right now. I know they are looking at these numbers just as closely as we are, George.
They certainly are. Cecilia Vega, the president changed his registration earlier this year to vote in Florida.
Yeah, George, I think it's hard for a lot of people to remember because we think of Donald Trump as a New Yorker, but he is now a Florida resident. The First Lady just voted in Florida this morning. He changed his residence from New York to Florida not too long ago, and this is a state that he has visited more than any other during the course of his presidency, some 82 visits over the course of the last 4 years, and he has been there numerous times over the course of this election and spent $78 million down there in Florida. And our team is hearing from sources who are telling us that the president, George, is over the moon with the numbers that he is seeing come in from Florida, especially Miami-Dade. I think they thought that the Democrats would have an advantage at this stage of the night, looking at the early voting that was happening there on their end. So they are clearly very pleased with what they are seeing at this point. And we're also told, George, that President Trump inside is watching these returns between the residents and the Eastern here in the White House where that event is taking place.
Okay, Cecilia, thanks very much. Nate Silver, let's remind everybody what happens to your projection if Donald Trump actually wins the state of Florida.
So yeah, let's see, he's at 10%. It's going to shoot way up if he wins Florida. It's going to take a little bit of time to calculate here. But Trump, if he wins Florida, is much more in the running. He's about a 1 in 3 chance of winning overall. The one silver lining for Biden a bit is that it seems to be mostly concentrated among Cubans in South Florida. It might not translate to other parts of the country. But, you know, Florida would be the first step toward a Trump upset.
Okay, Nate Silver, thanks very much. Let's take a look at the key state of Georgia right now. Let's pull that up. We've got about 11% of the expected vote in, and Donald Trump has the lead. Tom Yamas.
Take a look at Georgia right now. We do want to say, though, there is a lot of the vote that is not in Georgia, and that's important because you have the state of Georgia, and then you have the state of Atlanta and the suburbs. And 50% of the vote for the state of Georgia is going to come out of here. So, George, it is still very, very early. Any signs for either campaign? Look, there's a lot of red counties. Georgia got redder in those red counties after 2016, but the blue counties expanded. They got bluer. So many people moving to Georgia. Right now, it's tough to say whose state this is. Only 11% of the vote in a lot of the Atlanta metro area still needs to come in. But we can't talk about Cobb County. Cobb County once the home of Newt Gingrich, and at 63%, with 31% of the vote in, Joe Biden's overperforming Hillary Clinton. If he's going to win Georgia, he has to win big in Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs. And right now, if this holds, and this is the trend,
One of the other ones, I don't know if you can pull it up. Can you pull up Gwinnett County?
It's not in yet. We don't have information for it yet, but that was one of the counties that Hillary Clinton flipped 4 years ago. We're going to be watching it closely so far. And the reason why we don't have information, I want to explain this to our voters, we want to make sure we have enough of a sample in to kind of say who's winning what and the votes have been counted. We're not there yet. We're not.
What are we seeing in the exits there?
A couple of things out of Georgia, George, to take a look at. First of all, let's take a look at. They just switched this up on me right here. Let's take a look at Georgia's job performance. 50% approve of the job that President Trump is doing on the all-important issue. 1% though say the pandemic is most important. But I've been diving into some of the numbers in Georgia. The race and ethnic makeup, minorities making up 4 in 10 Georgia voters. That matches the 2016 numbers for Hillary Clinton. When it comes to moderates, even 39%. With conservatives, that also matches 4 years ago. Now, this is interesting. In Atlanta, a strong support in Atlanta brought Clinton to within 5 points of Trump 4 years ago. That is up slightly to 20% of the voters. There's a slight uptick there. But again, he's holding his own in the exit polls. The president in Georgia, they're giving him the edge in handling the pandemic moving forward as well.
T.J. Holmes is in Atlanta. What are you hearing on the ground?
Well, we're hearing on the ground here, you all made those important points there about where I am. I'm standing in this Atlanta metro area where, yes, this is a big state, 159 counties, but 50% of the vote is wrapped up in 4 counties right here in the surrounding area. We Cobb and Gwinnett counties. Those 2 counties, yes, Hillary Clinton lost this state by 5 percentage points, but she picked up Gwinnett and Cobb County. Those are 2 counties that are the 2nd and 3rd most populous counties in the state of Georgia. And she was the first Democrat to pick up those 2 counties since Jimmy Carter, the son of Georgia, did so back in 1976. So this is a big deal here if they can perform, if Joe Biden can perform well in this area. Now, we might not know for some time. We're expecting to start, George, getting some results here. It's 8 o'clock now, but we talk so much about all the early votes that came in. So how long is it going to take to get those? They didn't count them before today, but they started processing them before today, essentially collecting all those memory cards, essentially opening the mail-in ballots and getting them ready. So essentially all they had to do tonight, George, was click a button and to count those votes. So we should start getting some of those results of all those early ballots, all those early votes that did come in, that record-setting 3.9 million. We should start getting those pretty soon. They give us an indication. But yes, it's so critical here in these 4 counties how Joe Biden performs compared to how Hillary Clinton did. She lost the state, but that's why Democrats thought there was an opening. There was a chance. There was something here. They were making some inroads once they started doing a deep dive on the numbers from 4 years ago, George.
T.J. Holmes, thanks very much. Georgia's neighbor, Tennessee, has just come in for Donald Trump. Tennessee and its 11 electoral votes will go for Donald Trump. Also, Donald Trump has now picked up the state of Indiana and its electoral votes. So it's still quite early in the night. We have to be patient. Every state that's gone has gone the way it was expected to go. 6 states for Joe Biden, 4 for Donald Trump. Long night ahead. We'll be right back.
We love our new home. There's so much space.
We have a guest room now?
But we have ants.
You're slouching again, Ted.
Expired. Expired. Expired.
Thanks, Aunt Bonnie.
It's a lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save a lot of money. Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request?
I'll have to check.
Aunt Joni's here.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com. These are real people, not actors, who've got their eczema under control. With less eczema, you can show more skin. So roll up those sleeves and help heal your skin from within with Dupixent. Dupixent is the first treatment of its kind that continuously treats moderate to severe eczema or atopic dermatitis, even between flare-ups. Dupixent is a biologic and not a cream or steroid. Many people taking Dupixent saw clear or almost clear skin and had significantly less itch. Don't use if you're Serious allergic reactions can occur, including anaphylaxis, which is severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, or a parasitic infection. If you take asthma medicines, don't change or stop them without talking to your doctor. So help heal your skin from within, and talk to your eczema specialist about Dupixent. If your financial situation has changed, we may be able to help.
Colgate Optic White Renewal removes 10 years of yellow stains. That's like all the way back to 2010.
Their jeans, their leggings, their jeggings.
Whoa.
Remove 10 years of yellow stains with Colgate Optic White Renewal.
Is that a swing state? Why does it change? Has it been called early? Have they won? What happens now? As the election unfolds, get Trust Brackets. Free access today at WSJ.com.
With Mucinex All-in-One, you've got unbeatable relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms. So when you need to show your cold who's boss, grab Mucinex All-in-One and get back to your rhythm. Feel the power. Beat the symptoms fast.
Home is a place to share with the ones you love. And at Stanley Steamer, we love homes. However you choose to celebrate the season, we're here to make sure that your home is clean and safe for the holidays.
Congratulations, you've just blown up The Bachelorette.
Claire's gone? What just happened?
Do we get a new Bachelorette?
The Bachelorette on a special night, Thursday on ABC.
And we're back with our coverage on Election Night 2020, and we can say now that Mitch McConnell in the state of Kentucky has been reelected to the Senate. Mitch McConnell has been the Republican leader. Too early to say whether he'll continue to be the Republican leader, but we can say he will continue to be a senator. Mitch McConnell has won tonight. Let's take a deep look at the state of Virginia. It's still too early for us to project about 26% of the expected vote in, and right now it appears Tom Yamas and Donald Trump has a sizable lead.
Yeah, it's still really early, as you mentioned. I want to blow up Virginia here because it's a little smaller in our map. Here's part of the problem right now, why we don't have a good sense of what's going on. The D.C. suburbs, Alexandria, Arlington, that entire area, Fairfax, that's going to be 25% of the vote, and a lot of that so far we don't have in. But where Donald Trump is winning, he's doing really well, and he's actually overperforming in some areas. When we look at Henrico County, this was a county Democrats won pretty decisively 4 years ago. You can see 57 to 36. Tonight, right now, with 36% of the vote in, Donald Trump's on top. In the swing area, down here in the Hamptons Road area, Virginia Beach, Donald Trump barely lost 4 years ago. Tonight, he's up, and he's up big. But again, it's still very early in Virginia, George. We're still waiting for a lot of the vote to come in. You see a lot of these red counties. This is the same way it looked 4 years ago, yet when the blue filled in, that's when Democrats won.
Tom Yamas, thanks very much. Now let's pull up Texas. Seemed to become a battleground late in the game of this campaign.
Yeah, so we take a look at Texas. A lot of the vote not in yet. What we do have, of course, the most important county in Texas, the biggest county, Harris County right here. This is Houston, 56 to 42. He's matching Hillary Clinton so far. One of the big reasons Democrats thought this area was in play, that Republicans were vulnerable, is because Donald Trump underperformed from Mitt Romney, and he did it in an area here. I actually want to check one of these counties. Fort Worth, this is Republican territory right next to Dallas. This is Fort Worth. It's neck and neck with 80% of the vote in. That's actually very good news for Democrats. Democrats have to be very happy about that number. Just north in the suburbs of Fort Worth, Denton, this is also a Republican county, 45-52. But you can see right there, George, Joe Biden, he's building on Hillary Clinton, what she performing there. Still a lot of the vote out. You'll remember all of East Texas, that's going to be Trump country. The border is going to be more for Democrats. We'll be watching Austin, Bexar County, San Antonio, and of course the ring counties around Houston.
Okay, thank you. Marcus Moore is in Texas. And of course, Marcus, Texas, one of those states where the early vote produced more than 100% of the 2016 vote with days to go in this campaign.
Yeah, George, that was really the major storyline heading into this this election. More than 9.5 million people casting their ballots early here in Texas, and that, as you said, surpassed the 2016 vote entirely. And so certainly there has been a lot of enthusiasm heading into tonight, and the polls just closed here in Harris County and in most of Texas, but they are still open out to our west in El Paso. So, of course, few people know that Texas actually straddles 2 different time zones, and the votes are still being cast out there in El Paso. But we anticipate that in the next few moments, we will see the activity here at the Harris County vote headquarters pick up quite a bit. This is where those poll workers will be bringing in the various ballots from the polling locations, nearly 800 of them in Harris County alone, and they will be counting them here tonight, George. And so far, things have gone smoothly here. Only a couple of polling stations opened late because of technical difficulties, and so that has been good news. Also, the weather was perfect here, and both sides of this campaign, the Republican